You know the date. I gotta have the hood up. Some of you get that. Most of you probably get that. All right, coffee's here. I'm here. What else, sweetie? You're here. Oh, let's do it. Okay. And showtime in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Tuesday, May the 4th, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Good morning, Andrew. Andrew and I are going to be spending a pretty good amount of time together today. We've got 2 different recording sessions today. One in the morning, and then one in the evening. Working on that new thing that I've talked about the last couple days. I prepared for the new thing yesterday. I have a page of notes. I'm like, oh, Jeremy, what is this new thing? Well, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to give you all kinds of vague hints that won't help you at all. Because that's fun for me. I'll tell you what, yesterday went pretty well. Had all my client meetings, did a bunch of stuff for clients, some email, worked on a new article. I'm probably halfway, word count wise, I'm more than halfway, but probably about halfway done with a new article for Marshall Journal. Andrew says he's looking forward to our recordings today, as am I. We've got some good stuff we're working on today. I'm pumped for it. And in between, I've got 3 interviews. It is all recording all day. It's gonna be a busy day, and I'm good with that. In between, I'm gonna try and take care of some emails, some stuff for Marshall Journal. I got an invoice to send. Made an ad for somebody for the magazine yesterday. Probably one of the best ads I've ever done, honestly. My graphic layout skills are getting better. I just kept chipping away at it, and I eventually went, I think this will work. And I sent it over to the advertiser, and they said, I love it. Cool, we're done. Nice, first try. That doesn't happen very often in that world. What else did I do? Got acupuncture. Been trying to go to the acupuncturist a little bit more frequently. We're aiming for 3 weeks instead of 4, just because of everything that's going on in my life. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot. Talked to somebody yesterday about stuff with my father on the kind of logistical financial side. What am I supposed to do? And I got some phone calls I got to make tomorrow, trying to get all these things sorted, start moving forward. Played some video games, went to the gym. What else? My taxes are done. I gotta sign off on those. I'm getting money back. Woo! It's pretty cool. Doesn't usually happen. Actually, that's not true. I usually have money back, but not usually that much. This is more than I think I've gotten back in a long time. What else? What else did I do? What did I make for dinner? Fish and vegetables. Is that it? Fish and vegetables. It was one of those days that if I had someone following me around with a camera for a reality show, they'd stop, just say, we got nothing. Can you do anything that's exciting today? No. I didn't do anything exciting yesterday. Oh, I planted a few more seeds. Filling up the table. That's it. It's really like the only thing that I did. Cat's asleep. Yeah. So today, who are we recording with us today? We are recording with 2 people. Well, there are obviously more than 2 people. I'm going to be recording with a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different people today. But 3 of them are standard Monday episodes, interview episodes. And two of them are people I've wanted to have on the show for a while. One of them is someone I've had the chance to train with a little bit. His brother has been on the show. And let's see, what's one more hint I can give? He owns a martial arts franchise business that is incredibly successful. The other person I'm very excited about is someone that I've had the chance to work with only once, but had a great time. Somehow, they've never been on the show. And we're fixing that today. Coffee came out great. Actually ran the dishwasher yesterday, so I have my mug back. Now, if this were a normal, not all-out recording day, I might watch a Star Wars movie. And I still could. I probably won't, but I could. See, here's the secret. Here's a secret that I'm going to share with you on May the 4th that maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I think the original trilogy is pretty good. I enjoy them. I have a theory about movies. There are certain movies that if you don't watch them at a certain age for the first time, they don't have the same impact on you. And the best example I can give is The Princess Bride. I watched The Princess Bride for the first time when I was 25. I'd heard my whole life how great it was. Didn't do anything for me. But everybody I knew had watched it when they were, 10, 12, 14. And so I watched it again years later. Last year, I think it was. And I tried to put myself in the place of being 12, 13 years old. Andrew says, inconceivable. Yes. So I tried to put myself in that place and watch it again, and it was much more enjoyable. Had I watched that movie at the right age, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. It would have had a special place for it. Star Wars is the same thing. Their never-ending story is the same thing. Pretty much any 80s movie is the same thing. You had to watch it in the 80s, and you had to be the right age when you watched it. There's so many of those old movies that just... And martial arts films. A lot of those 80s martial arts films, you have to watch them from the perspective that there wasn't anything better yet. That all martial arts films were a string of questionable to decent fight choreography with a loose plot that was just there for an excuse to have more fight scenes. I'm not even going to say that on the air, Andrew. Andrew's trying to get me to talk about one that we disagree on so strongly. But it's a great example. The plot's awful. The acting's awful. Everything about it is awful except for some of the fight scenes. And there are a whole crop of those up through probably the early 90s. Pretty much everything between Karate Kid and Ninja Turtles. There may be some exceptions here or there, but everything I can think of right now between Karate Kid and the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live action one, had no story. There was no plot. It was just fight scenes. And not so great. Actually, yeah. There might be an exception. I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time since I watched Under Siege, which, if I remember correctly, was Seagal's debut. And I seem to remember that one being a little different. But I was like, 9? So who knows? Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. I don't know. But then in the 90s, it got better. The original Mortal Kombat was decent. Street Fighter was not. What else do we get? Oh, why is my nose itch so much? Whew. Oh, Under Siege was 92. Okay, that kind of protects my memory. But you end up with these discussions, these arguments, because those movies occupied a special place for someone at that time. And I'm sure I have movies like that. I would fight someone who didn't like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Not literally. But that's a movie out of my childhood that I probably watched that movie 10, 12 times before graduating high school. I love that movie. And it shaped my sense of humor. There was, in my friends group, there was one VHS copy that got passed around. And, you know, I think it was Tim's, and I'd call Tim, hey, do you have Monty Python? Can I borrow it? He's like, oh, John has it right now. You mind if I grab it from John? No, that's fine. But Rob wants it when you're done. Like, Tim never had it. It just circulated among everyone. And I remember disconnecting the VCR from the living room TV and putting it on my old TV that I had in my bedroom because my mother didn't want to watch that. That wasn't her sense of humor. Worked on the strength and conditioning hybrid program more yesterday. Pretty much it just needs to be refined. It is almost ready for launch. We're still talking internally about a few specifics and how we're going to present it. The original intention of that program was that if you bought the strength and the speed programs, you would get it for free. And I still want to do that. But is that the only way to get it? I don't know. I don't know. Couldn't tell you. We have to figure that out. I have thoughts. Figure it out. Well, I feel like I'm fading on my monologue here, so let's take a look at what you guys wrote in for me to talk about. Did you go back? Did you watch or listen to episode 602 with Matt King yesterday? Great guy, great conversation. Did you get to the part where I said there was something different? Because I even brought it up in the conversation. Our interviews on YouTube are getting more and more attention. I like that. Looks like I got something from Frank. So Frank's question is, what role should exercise play in someone's weight loss journey? That's a great question. And when we talk about, good morning, Stacy. When we talk about exercise, there are different kinds of exercise, right? We can think about exercising in a lot of different ways because people use that term interchangeably. If I go for a walk, some people call that exercise. I don't. I call it movement. I draw a distinction between exercise and movement. Exercise carries with it some intensity. Movement does not. I can kick a heavy bag as exercise. I could also just kick and move. You know, if I'm hanging out and I'm just throwing some techniques, that's movement. That's not exercise. I'm not really burning calories with that. I'm not raising my heart rate. And they both have a place. But the question is about exercise. What is the purpose of exercise when we talk about weight loss? It's burning calories. It's about ultimately it's about reducing body fat. If the question was, how does exercise relate to health, or how does exercise relate to being a better martial artist, and I'll tie these pieces in, that would be a different answer. Yesterday I talked about metabolism, and I talked about how if you try to make big changes too fast, it can set you up for failure. not just long term, but even medium term. A lot of times we get people going after, short term success, and they don't realize that they're sacrificing long term success. And the best example I can give for this, there's a Facebook group that I'm part of that's around health and fitness, and somebody posted a screenshot of a controversial figure in health and fitness outside of the martial arts space who said that they were approached to be a trainer on The Biggest Loser. And they were asked, do you think it is possible to, and Andrew, I'm going to get to that because yes, I agree. Is it possible for someone to lose 100 pounds in 12 weeks in a healthy way? And that person said no. And so, of course, they were not invited to participate. And that is correct. It is, you cannot lose dramatic amounts of weight in short periods of time and not have the body rebel. It's not going to happen. The core of weight loss really is around controlling intake, diet. If you're used to eating, a bunch of food, you need to start eating a little bit less food and slowly work that down. But you can also add some exercise in to help mitigate the effects of that food and to inspire the body to use that food in the right way. Now, Andrew says, playing devil's advocate, for some people, just walking is exercise, can get very winded and burn calories. Absolutely, I completely agree. The difference between movement and exercise is around that intensity and how you feel and everything. If you're used to sitting on the couch all day or in a chair all day, walking may be exercise. And I've seen people that fit that description that step into martial arts. Just being in the room, just doing basics up and down the floor, just picking up their knee is exercise for them. And that's not a judgment, it's not a criticism. You gotta meet people where you're at. And that's one of the things that I love about the format of martial arts classes, is that there's an individualized aspect that you, as an instructor, a good instructor, can help meet people where they're at. Okay, everybody, we're gonna do this. New students, I want you to do it this way. Blue belts, I want you to do it this way. Black belts, I want you to do it this way. So everybody's doing more or less the same thing, but maybe they have a different focus or they have a different combination or whatever it is. Now, when people get into exercise as a component of weight loss, they will often overdo it. So just as with food, you have to make small changes, with exercise, you have to make small changes. If you're used to, let's use steps, even though, for most people, walking is not going to be exercise. Let's think of it let's think about exercise in terms of steps because it's easy to measure. If you have some kind of fitness band, Apple Watch, whatever sort of deal on, and you're used to getting 3,000 steps a day, you average 3,000 steps a day. If you try to go to 10,000 steps in a day, your body may revolt. You might end up with sore, achy joints. You might end up injured. What if you go from 3,000 to 3,500? You're probably going to be okay. And you stay there for a couple weeks. And then you go to 4,000. And it builds momentum. We in Western society have this cultural attitude towards rapid progress, towards hacks, towards instant results. And that's not the way most things work. Unfortunately, media has convinced us that it is. There are things going on right now. How many messages or articles have you seen in the last few weeks about people who invested in cryptocurrency and now they're millionaires and billionaires? How many articles have you seen about people who bought at the wrong time and their portfolios are up, 2.5%, but they mortgaged their house to do it and their interest rate's more than that? It happens. For every article, for every message that we receive about the quick, the fast, the hack, the shortcut. There are many, many, many more that don't get reported because no one wants to read an article about life being difficult and hard and challenging and you having to put in the work for weeks, months, years to get the results that you're looking for. But that's what tends to happen. How do most people that are millionaires become millionaires? It's not through anything rapid or experimental. It's through working really hard and making good choices with their money. And eventually, when they're in their late 50s, early 60s, they end up with a net worth, including their $300-something thousand home, of $1 million. It's not sexy. Exercise is the same thing. So if you're looking for exercise as part of weight loss, the number one thing, because remember we talked yesterday, if you didn't check out that episode, of First Cup yesterday, you may want to. We talked about metabolism, and we talked about what happens when metabolism gets suppressed. Cardiovascular fitness builds an adaptation that suppresses metabolism. This is why there are people, and you may know them, or maybe you've even been one of them, who got into shape, and I use that term because that's not, I don't like the way that messages, but it's a term that we all understand. They got into shape from running. And then they stopped running. And what happened? They got out of shape. Sometimes those people are even in worse shape. I just need to start running again. It's going to get worse and worse. Because your body's adaptation from running, from any typical cardiovascular fitness, is to become more efficient. If you go out and you run a mile and your body burns, I don't even know what the numbers are, but let's say it burns 300 calories from running a mile. If you run that same mile time and time again, that number will go down. It'll go from 300 and slowly go down. I don't know where it's going to stop. It's going to stop somewhere. But over time, you are doing less and less work when you run that mile. Your body gets more efficient at it. But here's the thing. Are you eating less food? Are you slowly reducing your calorie intake as that happens? Most people don't do that. And your day-to-day life, your metabolism has become more efficient. Your general calories that you burn walking around, they go down. If you want to understand how the body handles certain types of exercise, look at the most prolific athletes in those sports. What do the best distance runners look like? Take a look at what marathon runners look like. That's what running does to your body. It creates that adaptation. By being efficient, you shed body fat, you don't hold muscle, and you're skinny, really skinny, unhealthfully skinny. Now, obviously, you don't have to take it that extreme. Now, what about resistance training, weight training? Those guys have a lot of muscle, don't they? There's a lot of muscle there. Lifting weights builds muscle. Here's the thing about building muscle. It raises your metabolism. If you are looking to become healthier or lose weight or whatever it is, resistance training is, in possibly most cases, I think I would say most cases, should be the core of your fitness. When we look at it from the martial arts perspective, stronger people are harder to kill. I wrote a short book called that. Stronger people are harder to kill. There is no downside to becoming stronger in the context of martial arts. There is no downside in life to becoming stronger. I don't want to get big and bulky. It doesn't happen overnight. Don't worry, you're not going to get there. The people that we think of when we think of weight training that are big and bulky, took them a long time to get there. So if you want to lose weight, generally what do? You slowly reduce the amount that you're eating. You focus on eating quote unquote good food, and you start moving some weight. This is part of why the program that we did, the strength and conditioning program, is so different from most. It doesn't require equipment, and it does bring in some martial arts principles, and it is not a cardiovascular adaptation. Most at-home fitness training programs are cardiovascular adaptation. Beachbody, etc. They have made a lot of money helping people lose a lot of weight in an unsustainable way. As long as you keep doing those workouts, you're good to go. The moment you stop, if you don't reduce your calorie intake, you will start gaining weight again. And it's a sad thing. Most people don't know that. Most people even involved in those programs don't understand that. They don't think about the adaptation, how amazing the body is at adapting. If you go and you take a look at hunter-gatherer tribes, South America, et cetera, these groups of people who are constantly moving. They hunt and gather all of their food. They're on the move, 6, 8, 10 hours a day. How many calories are they burning? One might expect, they're burning so many more than we are. No, because their bodies are adapted to that lifestyle. They burn roughly what we do, a little bit more. Whereas if we were to plop into that lifestyle, we would burn, double what we do now, a whole bunch more, because we're not adapted to it. So keep that in mind. What adaptations are you looking for? Now, what I'm expressing here may be daunting. It may feel like a lot. It may feel big. Small changes. If you take a look at almost everything that we put out around health, fitness, whatever, as a component of martial arts, because I believe that martial arts can help lead us in the direction of a healthier, more satisfying life. And I think having these programs and this messaging is important. Everything we're putting out is small changes. 2-minute martial arts, that was our idea. We did that. There's a book coming. The strength and speed hybrid program, it's like 15-ish. Some workouts are even shorter. Some workouts are 5 minutes, but it's every day. Small changes every day lead to the best results. If you want to be an awesome martial artist, you train, ideally, if you've got 5 hours to train through the week, do you train 5 hours one day? No. You train an hour 5 days. Everything that we do, if we want it to be sustainable, if we want it to have the maximum impact, we spread it out through the course of the time that we have. Frank, I hope that answers your question. If anybody else has questions like this, I like talking about this stuff. So I'm going to go. Andrew, we're going to chat soon. Those of you watching or listening, because, this is available in audio as well. Leave me some questions, some comments, some feedback. We'll talk about it tomorrow, because that's how we get the content for the show. You leave stuff for me to talk about in the comment section below. I'll talk about it tomorrow. We do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, here on YouTube. If you're new, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check out the other things that we do. Andrew says, I tell my students, you don't have to practice every day. You only have to practice on the days that you eat. Ha! I love it. Okay. Take care, everyone. Hit that thumbs up button for me. Helps other people find the show, helps us grow our channel. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Peace.